Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Anthony Martin. I am the Director of School Resources and Support for Burton School District. And tonight we have our LCAP community meeting to share our survey results with you. Buenas tardes. Gracias por estar aquí. Si necesita traducción en el español, por favor presione la pulga donde dice Spanish y tenemos Maria Arroyo para traducir a ustedes. So thank you for joining us again. I am going to be turning off my video in a second so that the screen will be in full screen. But we do appreciate you joining us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them through the Q&A, and those will be, we will attempt to address those by the end of the meeting. And if not, we will follow up afterwards. So again, we will be sharing our results from our most recently administered LCAP survey. We really appreciate your time and the participation to provide us with valuable insight. Those of you who took the time to participate in taking the survey, that data allows for us to know which direction to move forward and also to know what the community wants us to increase. So thank you for that. And we will be going through those details in just a few slides. Our agenda for the day, or for this evening, we had our welcome. Again, I really do appreciate you giving up a portion of your evening to join us. Also, please note this webinar is recorded, so if for some reason you need to leave, we will be posting this on the district website so that you are able to access it at a later time. We'll do a brief overview of the survey, the questions themselves, who responded to the survey. We'll share some of the quantitative data or the numbers side of things that we have. And then we'll provide an overview of a condensed themes, if you will, from our open-ended responses. We'll talk about some of our next steps. And then you see I have at the bottom of the agenda more opportunities for you to participate and engage with us as a district. We have the Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant, the plan meeting, May 12th, which is next Wednesday at 5:30. That will be a virtual meeting as well. I'll talk a little more about that at the end of the meeting. And then we have our next LCAP meeting on May 20th, again at 9 o'clock in the morning and at 5:30 in the evening. So what you'll see on the screen at this point is you'll see the survey questions that we asked for you to fill out as either community members, parents, or staff. Goal 1 are questions over here to the right, excuse me, to the left, looking at the screen. We asked for feedback related to the actions in Goal 1. Goal 1, our goal was to hire, train, and support the best available candidates to support student learning, as well as provide safe, clean, and secure campuses. Our action 1 was that academic support staff, intervention teachers, coordinators, things of that nature. Action 2 in this area was our classified support staff, instructional aides, paraprofessionals, our crossing guards, our librarian staff, our library staff. Our third action is in regards to our parent involvement plan. So various parent trainings, some of our software to connect with families, and some of our staffing. Action 4 was to improve school climate. That was done through a variety of actions, but some of the ones listed, school resource officer and crossing guards, and some other school climate pieces. Action 5 was increase attendance in the school environment. So in there we have our school psychologists, our counselors, as well as some of our attendance incentives. And our last action under Goal 1 was maintaining a safe and clean school environment or campus. Goal 2, provide a broad course of study. So in that we had field trips, primarily SciCon, the 5th and 6th grade trip that students normally would take is included in that, as well as additional programs such as Project Lead the Way and other programs that are outside the core curriculum. Our second action was our district and site intervention programs. And this is where our sites utilize their dollars on campus to provide a variety of services, including intervention, as well as some of the other programs utilized to support students in the classroom. Our third action in this area was for English learner professional development, and that's really training designed for our teachers who will be working with our English learners. Our fourth action is our data and assessment tools. This is software and other types of platforms that allow for us to be able to monitor and analyze how our students are performing and be able to support them and have real-time data to determine when there is a need. And our last action in this area, or excuse me, our fifth action, additional time. When LCAP was implemented, the district added 15 instructional minutes to every day. And in the last couple years, we've added additional time on our Wednesdays for teacher preparation and site meetings to be able to provide that professional development and time with their grade levels. Our last action in this area is our district support services. So our business expenses to support the LCAP implementation. There are a large number of individuals employed with these funds. There are a large number of items purchased throughout the year. The total in the LCAP between the district and charter is about 10 million. And so to process all that, we set aside a portion of that to be able to support our business department to ensure that those people can get paid, that we can process those requisitions, and that it is timely so that students have what they need. Our goal 3, providing professional development and training to continue to support our staff for students to be college and world ready. Our first action there is provide professional development and training. That is the variety of professional development provided by our Ed Services Department, as well as some of the outside consultants that we bring in to work with our staff. Action 2, provide parent trainings. In previous years, we've utilized these funds to send parents to PK in district, but also to our parent or PTA conference at the annual state conference to help build their capacity there. Our third goal or third action in this area is capturing kids' hearts. And that's our program on how we treat kids and one another on our campus. Our fourth area is implementation of our teacher induction program. And what that does is allows for our teachers to get their clear credential within the district and us provide a tailored program to support them in their growth. And the last area in goal 3 is our implementation of our technology plan, including devices and the trainings that go along with that. Additionally, we asked our parents to complete 3 additional questions with a 4th optional question. I am satisfied with my child's education on a 4-point scale. Adults at my school, at my child's school, treat every student with respect. And my child's school prepares them for the future. As well as providing parents the opportunity to provide us any additional feedback in regards to actions and services. Who responded to our survey? When the data was pulled for this presentation last night, at that point in time, we had 631 responses from parents, 36 responses from students, 197 responses from teachers, 23 responses from administrators, 85 from our classified staff. And between all of these categories, we had a total of 974 responses as of last evening. We have had a few more results trickle in today. And while those opinions will be included in anything that we move forward with, they are not included in the data that you will see tonight. So let's take a look at the data. So goal 1 and action 1 is that academic support staff, our intervention teachers, coordinators. And you can see that the overwhelming majority of respondents on actions 1 through 6 selected to continue the service within the district. The next highest rating was within increasing those services, with clearly coming in second place there. And then in each category, we did have a few votes to decrease the services. So for action 1, that number represents 66% of our respondents who want to continue and 32% who want to increase the services, such as academic support staff, our intervention teachers and coordinators. Action 2, our classified support staff. You'll see that for there's about 63% support for continuing and 36% for increasing that service, with around 1% indicating we should decrease. Our action 3, which is our parent involvement plan, or our parent trainings, portions of it, and some of the support staff for that. 69% of our parents, or excuse me, our respondents indicated we should continue those services. 26% indicated we should increase those services, and about 5% indicated that we should decrease those services. Improving school climates. You will see that a large number, the largest, tied for the largest number of continue, with 722 representing 74% of the respondents want us to continue with this, with an additional 25% wanting us to increase those services. And then about 0.5% saying to decrease the service. Our next action, which is our improving our attendance in school environment, which includes our school psychologists, our counselors, and attendance incentives. You will see it's the lowest when it comes to the continue, as it's only at 61.5%, but that is largely because it is also the highest in the increase. And when we transition to the next slide and talk about some of the comment themes, you will see that that's very apparent from our respondents that this is an area that many would like to see increased. And then finally, our last area is maintaining a safe and clean campus. Tied for the highest number of respondents in that area for continue with 74%, and then with an additional 25% saying we need to increase what we're doing and have more of that. So this is our quantitative data that we have based upon the survey respondents. Additionally, we had approximately 100 individuals take the time to write us comments in the open-ended section. And here are some of those themes. Socio-emotional learning, or SEL, and mental health, our psychologists, counselors, and social workers supports need to be increased and implemented district-wide. As you saw on the previous page, with that particular action having the largest number of increase, that is again supported here by the theme of wanting additional services in the area of mental health and socio-emotional learning. The second highest, or another common theme that was there, academic interventions and supports need to be available to students both during the school day and after the school day. There were a number of comments that reference both in school and outside of school interventions to provide support for students who are either falling behind or at risk of falling behind. And that school climate, safety, and maintenance of facilities need to be continued, and if possible, services even increased to make our campuses even safer than they currently are, but also making sure that they are top-notch when we have our fields for our students to play on. And so while we have worked to bring those fields to much better conditions, the community would like to see us go even further and continue those services and improving our facilities. So goal 2, we again have 6 actions in this area where we ask for feedback. The first one is providing a broad course of study, which in our area, this was largely our field trips that we funded out of here, as I said previously, and supplemental materials for classes. You will see by far it is the lowest in the continue with only 53%, but that is because the increase is by far the largest with 46% or 450 respondents saying we need to increase this. Again, as you heard the theme a minute ago about having opportunities, you'll hear similar themes in a minute referencing this action and what our respondents would like to see both continued and expanded within the district. Our action 2, district and site intervention programs. This had a large number of respondents indicating to continue with about 67% indicating that, and then another about 30% indicating they would like to increase those services. Again, this is an area that you'll see a common theme in a moment. So from some of the feedback we received in the qualitative area in the open-ended questions. Action 3, our English learner professional development. We're at 69% of our respondents would like us to continue that, with another 26.5% really looking to increase those services. Action 4, our data and assessment tools that we have available to monitor that student progress. You'll see that we're right at about 71% or 691 respondents, with another 24% indicating that we should increase that service. We do have, as you can see on each of the areas, a small number of respondents indicating we should decrease the services, with a low of the 8 in the first column representing about 1%, and the high in column 6 representing about 6%. Action 5, this is that additional time I talked about earlier, the 15 minutes of instructional time that was added 6-7 years ago, and then the additional time for teacher collaboration, professional development on our Wednesdays. 648 of our respondents, or 66.5% roughly, would like that to continue. 286, or about 29%, would like to see that increased, and then about 4% indicating to decrease that. Our last column has the largest number of respondents in the continue to provide that. And that is our district support services, those business expenses that allow us to operate efficiently to ensure our students have what they need in a timely manner. And that particular one had 76.5% of our respondents indicate that they would like to see that continue, with 17% indicating it should increase. And then again, as I mentioned, the total at the bottom there for the decrease on this particular one is about 6%. The themes that were very apparent, and again, we had approximately 110 respondents provide us additional feedback in this area. And one of the ones that came in a variety of ways was that our respondents would like to see increased opportunities for students to experience opportunities outside of the classroom, including field trips, but not limited to that, and other types of school activities that are provided throughout the school day. They would also like to see additional learning opportunities. A number of our respondents indicated language classes, in particular, Spanish as a second language class, increasing that access to all of our students at all grade levels. Some of the arts, increasing access there. And then other electives were included in that as well. And then, as I mentioned before, increased support for struggling students. So ensuring that those students who had difficulty over the last year have the supports in place to make sure that they are not falling behind or falling further behind, and that we are able to provide those supports and get them up to speed as quickly as possible. These were very clear themes that came from the comments in this section. And this allows for us to have valuable insight on services we can continue to provide and ways we can better serve and meet the needs of our families. Goal 3 is our professional development goal. And we have 5 actions within this area. Action 1 is our professional development plan, or the trainings that are largely provided by our Ed Services Department. And so in that area, we had 638 respondents, or about 65% indicate we need to continue those services. About 28% indicated we should increase those services, and about 7% indicated we needed to decrease those. Our parent trainings is our action 2. So again, this is PK, sending parents to our PTA conference and things of that nature. 677, or 69% of our respondents indicated we should continue this service, with an additional 234 respondents, or 24%, indicating that we should increase. Again, about 6.5% indicated that we should decrease that service. And so that gives us that balance there. But again, the majority of our respondents indicating that we should increase or continue those services. Our action 3 is capturing kids' hearts. That is our training on how we treat and interact kids on a daily basis. Our respondents, we had 662 of them indicate we need to continue that. That's about 68%. 224 indicate that we should increase this service. So that's about 23%. And then 90 of our participants, or about 9%, indicated that we actually should decrease these services. And there were some comments in regards to that. And with the decrease in the services, it was along the lines of decreasing this service to add in another service or supplement with an additional service. So that way we are not just looking at the entry level and how we work with students, but also how we support them as if they are struggling with their behaviors and actions. Action 4 is our implementation of our teacher induction program. It has our largest number of respondents indicating continue, with 764, or 78%. Another 173 indicated we should increase this service, and about 4% indicated we should decrease. And our last area on goal 3 was our technology plan. And again, that includes the trainings as well as the staffing and programs that we utilize throughout the district. We had 668 of our respondents indicate that we should continue those services. That's about 68%. And then we had our largest number of respondents indicate that we should increase this at 28.4%, with about 3% of our respondents saying that we need to decrease our spending on technology. In just a second, we'll move over to the slide with some of the comments themes, but they will run very much in alignment with previous comments, as well as the way you are seeing the data here. So goal 3 comment themes, again, capturing kids' hearts is important and should continue. But again, there are some people who would like to see us add on to that with additional support programs. Teacher support and training that is targeted, specific, and ongoing. That it be continued to be provided, particularly these areas here, technology and the various associated programs with that, as well as our socio-emotional learning and trauma-informed practices. Really, there were a number of comments in those 2 areas, or within programs specific to technology. But the goal is that we want to provide those support structures and trainings that is ongoing and very specific to a teacher's needs. And a comment that was mentioned multiple times is the addition of special education to the teacher induction program. Our teacher induction program currently serves our general education teachers. That's where the program was developed. But our respondents indicated, a number of them indicated they would like to see the addition of special education to that. And so that those teachers are able to clear their credential with the district as well. Our next couple slides will address the parent specific questions. So these are our parent questions. Again, the 3 questions that we have are at the bottom to give you an idea. This year, we did use a 4-point scale instead of a 5-point scale. We removed the middle one of either that is usually neither agree nor disagree. We really wanted to get an indication of a parent's perspective on how they were feeling. And in this area, we have just under 800 responses. So question 1, I am satisfied with my child's education. We have about 35% in the strongly agree and about 57% in the agree, with about 7% in the disagree and about 1% in our strongly disagree. So what's that give us? It gives us about 92% of our parents responded that they either strongly agree or agree that they are satisfied with their child's education. Our next area is adults at my school, at my child's school, treat every student with respect. And here you'll see that we had the largest number of strongly agree. We did have the lowest number of agree here, but that is, I believe, because of the number in strongly agree. And those percentages there are 44.3% of our parents that took this strongly agree that adults at our schools treat every student with respect, with another 50% of the respondents indicating that they agree with that statement. That gives us a total between those 2 categories of 94.5% of our parents believing that adults at our schools treat every student with respect. That leaves us about 4.5% in the disagree, and again, about 1% in the strongly disagree. For our final question that we asked parents that we collected data in this manner, the question was, or the statement was, my child's school prepares them for the future. 283 of our parents indicated that they strongly agree with that. Another 445 indicated that they agree with that statement. We did have 56 parents indicate they disagree and 8 who strongly disagreed. The total that we have between the first 2 categories of agree or strongly agree in this area is about 92% as well. And so that number gives us the indication that the overwhelming majority of parents believe that we are preparing their student for the future. What this data also indicates is that we do have some areas that we can continue to grow as a district to ensure that our parents are satisfied with the education they are receiving at their child's school, to make sure that they know that every adult on the campus is treating every child with respect, and to communicate with them how we are preparing their children for the future and for those next steps. And so again, we had the opportunity to glean and get some additional feedback in the form of comments in this area. And so in this area, I will tell you, it was very uplifting to see the number of comments that shared the appreciation for our school staff and the support they give our students. There are a number of individuals who are called out individually as to the amazing job they have done both during COVID and pre-COVID in supporting our students and creating environments where students want to go. And so there are a number of comments that just share that appreciation for what our staff does and how our staff interacts with the students and families. There were a number of comments that expressed appreciation for being back in person. A number of our parents shared that their students were so excited to be back, that they are learning so much more now that they're back in person, and just an overall appreciation for what our staff does when students are in person. Again, as with in the various other comment sections, Another theme that was very clear and apparent was our parents would like to see additional mental health and counseling support for our students. They recognize that in particular this last year could have been very difficult on students, and as such want to ensure that we have the support structures in place to make sure students have those services when they return. As with previous comment sections, again, additional student academic interventions, both in school and out of school. This was a very clear theme that we saw throughout the comment section, and then it came up again here directly in the parent comment section. And again, those are academic interventions both during the school day and after the school day. And the last area that was called out multiple times in this parent section comments was the desire for our students at all grade levels to have increased opportunities to receive instruction in Spanish and to learn the Spanish language. As was mentioned in previous comment sections, and you'll see here, it's in all grade levels that our parents are asking for this. And so again, this provides us additional valuable feedback on how we can potentially better serve our community moving forward. And the very final question, as we always try to do with our surveys, is give the parents or the respondents the opportunity to give us any additional feedback that would help us plan moving forward. And some of those additional comments or the themes, again, were very, very similar to what you have read already and what was previously commented on. And that is increased opportunities after school, both in terms of an after school program and interventions such as tutoring, but also in terms of activities for students to do outside of the school day to keep them engaged and keep them active. Additional Spanish classes, again, came up in this area as well. And again, it was very clear that it was in all grade levels, not one specific campus or grade span, but repeatedly pointed out that all grade levels should have additional Spanish classes. Increased student activities, as I mentioned before, both in school and out of school activities for students to do. And again, that desire for us to provide and improve those nice, clean facilities and to continue to improve our school climate through adding additional mental health supports and building environments where students want to be and feel safe and secure. So what happens next? Our next steps will be utilizing this information as well as other feedback the district has from various stakeholder groups. We will begin transitioning from these old LCAP goals and actions. That's what you heard me read tonight. These are the ones that were on our most recently approved LCAP and the ones that you are used to seeing. And we will begin transitioning to the new template and to our new goals and actions that are in alignment with the district strategic plan that was adopted by our school board last year. The strategic plan lays out 4 areas that the district is focused on moving forward. Excuse me. And we believe that our LCAP should mirror that. And so moving forward, we will be transitioning these actions and these goals into new actions that are directly related and tied to our different pillars within our strategic plan and then the action processes that we are taking underneath those. When can you hear that? Well, that's a great question because our next LCAP meeting on May 20th is a great opportunity for you to come and listen as to how that will take place and what that will look like. We will again have the opportunity for you to come and hear us speak about this at 9 o'clock and again at 5:30. It will be in webinar format so that we can ensure that we are adhering to COVID safety guidelines. We are also having an expanded learning opportunities grant plan meeting next Wednesday, May 12th at 5:30. The expanded learning opportunities grant is one-time funding coming from the state of California that is designed to support school districts in providing expanded learning opportunities outside of the normal school day and school year. Examples of this are our summer schools our after-school interventions, Saturday schools, anything that takes place outside of what would be considered the traditional school day or school year. And so we will be sharing our plans with you on May 12th and how we plan to expend those funds. To give you a brief idea, we plan to utilize those funds to provide a very robust summer school program this year, to potentially provide some before the start of the year programs, and then continue in the fall with some targeted intervention and after school programs to support students to help ensure that any of that seat time that was lost that has resulted in students falling behind, that they have access to those structures to make sure they get that support. And then again, if we continue to have enough funding, we will again provide another robust summer school program next summer, again, outside of the normal school year. Again, with the idea being that we are trying to make up for that lost time, if you will, or the lost in-seat, in-class, in-person instruction. And so these give us the opportunity to provide students with additional learning opportunities to help close any of those learning gaps that may have occurred over the last year. In just a second, I will be launching a poll. And all the poll asks you is to indicate, are you a parent, teacher, administrator, classified staff, or a community member? And then also, if you could please let us know what school site you are associated with. That helps provide us feedback as to who's in the room and how we can support you. So I will launch the poll and we'll keep it open for just a minute. Also, when this webinar is completed, there should be a survey that pops up, or you should receive a survey in your email. And what that gives you is it gives you the opportunity to provide us any additional feedback on actions and services if you didn't provide it in the survey, or if you want to provide something else after seeing our presentation this evening. And so I ask that you complete that for us, as we do utilize this data to help us make the decisions as we move forward, and so that we are able to respond to the needs of our community and our students. The poll will stay open for about another 10 seconds. So if you haven't taken the time to fill that out, if you would please take just a moment to complete that. Thank you to those who took the time to complete the poll. We are now closed. And so my closing thoughts, our LCAP survey provides us as the district and district staff with valuable feedback and information from you, our stakeholders, and that helps us support the decision-making as to what services we will be providing in the upcoming school years. An important thing to note as well is just because something doesn't get into the LCAP does not mean that we are not providing it next year. LCAP dollars the LCAP is only reflective of our LCAP dollars, or largely reflective of our LCAP dollars. Again, we have received many one-time funds, and the survey data that you have provided us as community members and our stakeholders helps us make those decisions as well. So if you don't see a particular item in the LCAP as we move forward, please feel free to ask, hey, where are we getting these services? Because many of the other services that we are going to be increasing in the next year or 2 years will be funded out of one-time funds and not out of our LCAP. And so that feedback and input you provide us is invaluable, and we could not do this process without you. And we are extremely appreciative of you joining us this evening. I thank you for taking approximately about 40 minutes of your evening to join me tonight and to hear how our families and staff members and community members responded to our survey as to what we're doing and what we will continue to do or increase. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is on the screen. It's anthony.martin@burtonschools.org. Or my office number is 782-5954. That will get you directed to the Student Services Office. And our ladies there will then be able to direct your call to me, and I will be able to answer your question. If you have any additional input, please do not hesitate to give that to us. I will leave the webinar open for just a few minutes after I finish my talking. So that way, if there are any questions that would like to be asked, I will do my best to answer them now. And if not now, at a later date. Again, this will be recorded and you have the opportunity to view it again at a later date on our district website. Thank you for joining us tonight. And this is the conclusion of the webinar.